Hello there, and in this video we're going to learn a bit about some basics of Microsoft Teams. So there's two ways you can access Teams. The first way is through Office 365, which I have open here. As you can see, I've got the Teams app here. However, if you don't have it here, because these are usually frequently used, you click on all apps and you'll find it here. So if you can't see it there, just click on that one. Now, I don't actually use the web app that much. I tend to use the actual app. So this is the web version in Office 365. It's built in. You can actually download an actual application, an app for it through Windows, Android and Apple devices. You can get it for your phone, your iPads, your laptops, whatever. Basically, they're very similar, except the actual full app has a few extra features. For example, with video conferencing, you can see multiple screens at once, whilst with the web app at the moment it seems to be only one. You can only see one person at a time. So that's the full app. So that's how I'm going to do this demonstration, but a lot of the things you see will probably be applicable within the web app as well. So just going to open up the web app. Now this is the main team screen. You can see I've got teams selected on the left. These are all the teams I've already got created, but I'm going to take you through starting one off and what you can do with these. So up in the top right, you've got join or create a team. So we're going to click on that. Now this is where, if you did want to give a code for a team, you can, do it this way. They can the kids will type in a code by clicking that button and then, join team, and it will take them straight through. However, I would recommend that you add pupils manually. Now, while this may be slightly more time consuming, the problem with giving out codes, like you might have done with, with Teams or Google, is that anyone with that code can theoretically join. So you could have issues of other people coming in. So I would always advise you create the team manually. Whilst it takes a little bit of time to do it initially, once it's set up, it's set up. So we're going to go ahead and create the team. You can choose what you want. So, you can do staff and other, but obviously we're going to choose a class. And we're going to give this team a name. Now, obviously, we'll call it test, but obviously you call it, we call it perhaps year 10 GCSE, whatever you want, or year 10 computer science, I'll call this one. But obviously, you give it whatever name you want. You can do a description, but I'm not going to bother with that. So just click next, and it should be creating the team. So this is where you can add students and teachers. They have different roles and what they can do. So obviously, if you've got, for example, you teach the class with another teacher, or you have, for example, perhaps some learning support people a part of the class as well. You can add other people here, and obviously students. So I'm going to add our test account, which is pupil.user. Hopefully that will come up. There we go. And I'm going to click on that. You can add, loads of them at once. And then when you're done, click add. And then we can click close there. And hopefully now that'll create the team. So this here is sort of like a timeline. Think of this as like a Facebook timeline. So here, where I've clicked down the bottom, you can type messages to the class. So if I type, for example, welcome to the team. Sorry, I need to change that to capital. That's going to annoy me otherwise. Welcome to the team. Send that. That's popped up there. Now, obviously, if I've got the test account open here, so I'm going to open a pupil account. So we're going to click Teams here, and this is a pupil's Teams application loading. We're just going to use the web app because most pupils will probably use that, but they can also download the full application if they want as well. So while that's loading, there we go. You can see there, test year 10 has already popped up. So that's already been populated. So we're going to jump in on that. Click on that, and there we go. You can see there's the message sent by me, time, and whatever, and the pupils can reply. So thank you, sir. Not that you ever get any gratitude, but there we go. Right, so this is how you can communicate, but we're going to keep going. So I'm going to pop back to the teacher version now. Before I carry on, we're going to go through some other bits. So at the top there, you've got this activity thing. This basically tells you if something happens. So you can see here, pupil user replied. So that means that obviously you've had a reply to a message you've sent. I've got other messages from pupils from other things that's happened as well. So this is, you can get like activity and you can see what's happened and which team is part of and jump straight to it by clicking these. But anyway, we're going to carry on. So first of all, we're going to go to managing the team. So let me just close activity a second, jump back into the team. Right, so if you click this little three dotted button here, this here allows you, it's got a lot of options here. So here I've got manage teams. So on here, if I click my members, you can see here I've got pupil user. You can delete members, you can change their roles, and you can also click on add members to add new pupils or new teachers to the team, and you can manage it through here. if I go back to there, you've got add channel. Now channels are a way of essentially having a subcategory of team. For example, now for classes, I can't see this being hugely useful. Maybe I suppose if you've got a class and you've got like group work going on and you've got like 4 groups doing different things, then you could use this. But you know, if you've got like a staff team and perhaps some staff are working on teaching methods and another staff are working on reports, if you click add channel, give it a name. So I'll call this one we'll call it reports, and then click add. You can also, by the way, you can change who has access. So this is for everyone, but this, if you do private, you can actually select specific people within the team. So I'm going to click add, and what it does, it should appear on this left hand side. There you go, reports. Now as you can see, if I jump back to general, this is the main channel. All it does is essentially just create a subcategory of a team. So like I said, for most people that's not going to be that applicable for classes, but just know you can do like have like a subcategory. So I'm going to go back to general. Now, there's a few other things we can do, so we'll have a little look here. You've obviously got add a member, leave a team. You've got edit the team. That's just to change the name, or you can change the icon up here. You've got these things called tags. Tags are basically a way. So if I go to a message here and do @ you'll notice it jumps with pupil.user. So this is, it's kind of like Twitter, I suppose, where you put @ or in WhatsApp, where you see a bunch, you know, everyone who's part of the message will pop up. So you can essentially, that then will pop up into their activity center. So if you put if I put @ John Kiff, if it was a teacher group, you know, it would pop up in John's team's activity. So he knows he's had a message from me. You can also create different tags, so you can actually make tags. For example, you could create a tag called subject leaders, and you could add all the subject leaders as part of that tag, or again you could set them into group 1, 2, 3 and 4 with pupils. Add the pupils, and if you put @ group 1, it would then send it to it would then pop up in their timelines, in their activity parts. So that's a way you can sort of manage different groups of people within the team. Right, so we've gone through editing a team, we've gone through channels. Managing tags we just spoke about. Sorry, I've got a list here, I'm just making sure I go through. Right, activity button we've looked at. Right, posts and options. So as you see here, below the posting there's actually options. So you've got things like attach, so that's your basic attaching, you know, files or whatever. You've got, you know, little smiley faces and gifs and stickers. This here is how to meet. Now, I'm going to be doing another video to go through the details of meetings, but that's how you do a meeting through Teams. There is another way as well, but that's one way you can do a quick meeting. This is called Stream. I'm also going to discuss this after, which is kind of like their version of YouTube, I suppose, the best comparison. But that's going to be for adding videos to the team, which I'll show you again after. You know, you've got other things you can add there as well. And obviously, this is just your send button. So, we've got at the top then, these ones here, you've got files. So if you want to add files to the team, for example, you know, you want to add some PowerPoints or, you know, worksheets, whatever you want to do, you can click upload, just like in OneDrive. You click upload, or you can put links in and upload them here. You can also link it to another cloud storage device. If I click add cloud storage, for those of you then who have done a lot with Google and other things like Dropbox, you can actually link it to your drive and then use that as well to add materials. You've got assignments, which I'm going to go through in a minute, and you've got grades there, but you can also add different things to the top. Long story short, these will appear at the top in these tabs. So, I mean, you don't want to add too much here because it'll become too cluttered, but if you want really important things, you can put them at the top there in tabs. So I'm just going to jump back to posts, which is our main timeline. So we're going to look through assignments, which is quite useful. So this is, if I click assignments here, this is basically where you can create an assignment. So first of all, you're going to have all your teams here. So we'll create one for our test class. And we're going to click next. Now, before I start, by the way, you can actually, I'll show you in a sec, you can actually create one assignment for like several classes in one go, which I'll show you once we get started. So I click get started there, and we'll click create. Now you can do a quiz. Essentially, this will, I suppose, allow you to make a self-marking thing, but the one I tend to use most often is assignment. From existing will essentially give you a list of previous assignments. So if you've done one, you don't want to duplicate it. You know, you did it last year with year 10, you've got a new year 10 class, you can use that as well. So I'm going to go to assignment and give that a second to load. So here's your title. So I'm going to call this hardware theory, which is a recent topic we covered. And obviously you can add instructions. This is where you're going to give your pupils instructions. For example, I know, watch video, complete questions, blah, blah, blah. And then also you can assign points. So if it's a marked test assignment, you can actually assign, you don't have to do this, but you can assign the points there. This is the bit here where I said to you before, you can assign to one class. If I click this here, you can actually see I can add a load more classes. So I can add, you know, a bunch of my classes. So if you've got like lots of year 9s, you're ahead of department and you want to do it for all year 9, you can just add them all there. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove them so we don't send it to the other kids, because they'll be wondering what's happening, because some of them are actually using this. And obviously if you want, you know, by default you want all students, but you can customize that if you want. This is your due date, so this will obviously it'll essentially tell you if kids hand in late based on this date. By default it does 11:59 that day, but obviously you can customize that as well. So that's basically how you assign it. If you click save, it won't actually go to the kids. It'll only go when you press assign. So if you've not finished or you want to do something first, just hit save and it'll keep it. Obviously discard is get rid of it, and assign is actually give it to the kids. So I'm going to click assign now, and there you go, it's done and assigned. So if we jump over to the pupil version of Teams, so there you go, it's popped up there, hardware theory. So view assignment, this is what the pupils see. So I'll click view assignment, and you see it's jumped to the assignments tab, and we'll give that a second to load. And there you go, there's the assignment, there's the video questions. Now, how the pupils submit the work is they click this add work option. Now, they can add work as they go along, but they don't have to submit straight away. It's only when they press this hand in button at the top right is when it's actually submitted. So they can sort of like keep adding things as they go along. So I'll click add work, and basically there are 3 ways my pupils have been doing this. They can either attach a file. So if you've got given them a Word task sheet to complete, they can download it, complete, and then resend. They can link it to one of the, by default it's linked to their OneDrive, so the pupils will have all the things in their OneDrive. So if they've done it through OneDrive or uploaded it to OneDrive, they can use that and it'll create a link. They can also upload something, so they can upload their Word document. But what some of my pupils have done is the ones that haven't got proper laptops at home, they've been doing it on paper, and I've got them, what they've been doing then is taking a photo of the work, then clicking upload to this device and uploading the photo of the work. So then, you know, that way they only really need a phone. They watch the videos on the phone, they see the questions on the phone, and they literally just do the answers on paper, take a photo and upload it. So this is quite a good way of working with kids who don't have, you know, most people in most houses, not all I know, but most have got some sort of phone linked to the internet. So this is a way they can do it that way. And then obviously they click attach, and then they attach it, and when they're done they click hand in like that. So there you go, and they can undo it obviously if they made a mistake, and there you go, it's dated for them. So if I jump now to my teacher, wrong one, let's go back to Teams. If I jump to my teacher part, so I'm going to click on this assignment. Now if you see it says to grade in this tab, and what it should do now is there you go, it said pupil user turned in. So this has told me this pupil has turned it in. Now if it was late, it would tell me how many hours it was late, and if they hadn't handed in, it would also tell me that. So I've been using this as a way of essentially all the pupils who have not handed in, I've been sending texts to them. So it gives you a quick list of basically who didn't bother, and then, you know, I've been sending texts home to let their parents know that didn't happen. You can also, when you're marking them, you can click on it. So I'll click there. It will load up the work. Now, obviously, I haven't got it here, but if it was a Word document, it would load it here. You can type in some feedback. Obviously, this is terrible feedback, but, you know, I'm just doing something to show you an example. You can give it a mark like that, and then hit return. Now, quick tip. If you're marking a class, if you press these arrows, now obviously I've only got one pupil here, you can just literally flick through them and it'll just keep loading them here rather than going back and forth, and you just keep adding the feedback. So I'm going to hit return, and if I go to my pupil now, let's jump back to pupil user now, and let's go back to activity. I should now have been told that, let's go to view assignment. There we go, I've got my feedback, do better next time, here's my points. So the kids then have got, you know, the feedback you sent to them. There's obviously an option for them to re-hand in. So if you're not happy with it, you can ask them to do it again, and they can hand it in again. And this again all pops up, you know, there's activity, tell you that something's happened, you know, and, you know, the kids can check their feedback in that way. So I'm just going to close, go back to assignments a second, let's close that. So once you're done as well, by the way, you get this graded. So this is now told them, this is your list. Because obviously when you've got 30 kids, it's hard to remember what you've, maybe who you've marked and who you haven't. Essentially, all in here will be the ones you haven't graded yet or didn't turn it in. And this is the list of who you have returned. So, that's a way of keeping them nice and separate. You can also edit the assignment. So if you've forgotten something or you want to add an extra resource, you can do that. As a teacher, you can press student view to see what the teachers see. Also, what's very useful, and this is why now with the feedback, you could theoretically write the feedback on the document here. However, if you do it in this box here, what this gives you is this export to Excel option. And if I hit that, it will very quickly download a spreadsheet and give you essentially all your pupils' work that's been returned with the feedback and marks. So that's a really good way of, for book scrutiny and showing evidence of what you've done. So that's the main thing for assignments. Now, the only other thing I'm going to go through, because I know I've already gone through a few things, is uploading videos. Now, you have to use something in your Office apps called Stream, which I kind of mentioned earlier. So if I go to my login here, so again, it's an app here. It's called Stream. Now, it's very similar to YouTube, I suppose, in the way it works, and it's basically a way of uploading videos and storing them. So if you've created a video, if you go to create, you can upload a video here, and this is how you upload it. And you give it a name and everything, and then it'll be available in Stream. Then what happens is, once you've uploaded your video in Stream, you then, in your in your Teams parts, let's go to my team a second. So in here, if I click on this tab up here, now you can actually just click Stream and add one through that way, but I'm going to do it through a tab, right? And if I go to Stream, and what it is now, I'm able to search for the videos I've made. So if I type in there, video, and I'll see what videos have I done. So I think I did one called Hardware. Let's give it a second to load. Or did I do a channel called Hardware? Let's try this again, actually. Let's do a channel. I'll tell you what the difference is between the two now once I just get one up. Unit 1. There we go. Right. So the difference between a channel, essentially, think of it as a YouTube playlist. A channel basically is more than one video. The video one would just be if it was one video. So here I've got a channel called Hardware because I did several videos for hardware, and same for logical operations, same for communication. So if I click on communication, hit save, what will happen now, we'll give it a second to load. There's my channel. You can see these are the 4 videos I made for them. So, and it's up the top here. So if I go back to posts, it's appeared here. So I've said watch the videos. They're the videos. It's up the top as well. But if the kids just click that, basically it shows them the videos and they can click and play. So if I go back to the kids view, there you go. It's appeared there and it's up there at the top. So that says new as well. So if I click that and I can basically sit there, it will open up inside their browsers. They can click the video and start watching the video. But we don't hear my voice anymore, so I'll close that now. But that's a way you can add a video. So it's very simple to do that. And again, I'll release a video on how you can make videos in the future. So that's the basics of Teams. There is obviously more it does, and I'm going to do another video on the actual details of the specific video lessons. But that's the basics there. So if there's any other questions, obviously let me know. But I hope you found this useful.